You've probably seen the claims online. Ancient cave paintings that supposedly show UFOs, symbols that supposedly prove aliens visited early humans, videos with dramatic music insisting our ancestors couldn't have made this art without help from the stars. But the real answer is far stranger than any of that. Because what cave art actually shows isn't aliens. It's something almost as wild. Proof that your ancestors were watching the sky more closely than you ever have. Start in southwestern France, deep inside the Lascaux Cave system. On the walls, painted more than 17,000 years ago, are bulls, horses, and stags rendered with incredible detail. For decades, most people saw this as simple hunting art, pictures of the animals early humans chased for food. Straightforward, practical, nothing more. But in the early 2000s, a German researcher named Michael Rappengluck looked closer. He noticed something odd. Above one of the most famous paintings, a bull, there's a cluster of 6 dots arranged in a specific pattern. Rappengluck argued that pattern wasn't random. He believed it matched the Pleiades star cluster, visible in the night sky above that exact region during that exact era. Think about that for a second. If he's right, that means someone, 17,000 years ago, looked up, memorized a pattern of stars, walked into a dark cave, and recreated it from memory using nothing but charcoal and mineral pigment. That's not evidence of aliens. That's evidence of a mind incredibly similar to your own. Rappengluck didn't stop there. He proposed that other markings throughout the cave might represent constellations, lunar cycles, even a kind of primitive calendar. Not every archaeologist agrees with his interpretations. Some argue the dot patterns are coincidental or represent something else entirely, like migration routes or symbolic counting systems. But the debate itself tells you something important. Scientists are seriously asking whether Ice Age humans were tracking the sky. Not because it's exotic, because the evidence, however contested, keeps suggesting it. Now travel forward in time and eastward to a hill in southeastern Turkey called Göbekli Tepe. This site is even older than Lascaux's oldest paintings, older than agriculture, older than pottery, older than the wheel. Massive stone pillars, arranged in circles, carved with animals. Foxes, snakes, scorpions, vultures. One particular pillar has become known as the vulture stone. On it, a vulture appears to be holding a circular disc, almost like a ball, above what looks like a headless human figure. Engineer and researcher Martin Sweatman proposed something bold. He suggested the carvings might encode a specific astronomical event, a comet impact, dated using the positions of animal symbols matched to constellations that may correspond to a real climate-altering event known to have occurred around 10,900 BCE. Sound familiar? It should. It's strikingly similar to the same accusation people throw at pyramid builders and ancient civilizations everywhere. They couldn't have known this without help. But here's the twist. They didn't need help. They needed patience. And patience is something ancient humans had in abundance. Consider what a lifetime actually looked like back then. No electricity, no screens, no streetlights competing with starlight. When the sun went down, the sky wasn't background noise. It was the main event. Every single night, for your entire life, the same slow, rotating theater played out above your head. Planets that wandered against the fixed backdrop of stars. A moon that swelled and shrank in a predictable rhythm. Seasonal constellations that rose and set like clockwork, marking when to plant, when to migrate, when to expect the herds. Anthropologist Frank Marlowe, who studied modern hunter-gatherer societies like the Hadza of Tanzania, documented how deeply oral tradition and environmental observation shape a community's survival. Knowing the sky wasn't a hobby, it was infrastructure. It told you when the rains would come. It told you which direction was home. Communities who paid close attention to celestial patterns had a real, measurable advantage over communities who didn't. So of course they encoded what they saw into their art. Not because something from beyond the stars whispered secrets into their ears, because the stars themselves were already whispering, every clear night, to anyone patient enough to keep watching. This is where the modern ancient aliens theory quietly falls apart under its own weight. It assumes ancient people were somehow less capable than you, less observant, less intelligent, that the only way they could have understood cycles of the moon or noticed a specific cluster of stars is if someone from another planet handed them the answer. But look at what a human brain can do, even now, without any of that supposed help. A Polynesian navigator named Mau Piailug could cross thousands of miles of open Pacific Ocean using nothing but the position of stars, the direction of swells, and the flight patterns of birds. Memorized techniques passed down for generations with zero written instruments. No GPS, no aliens, just an extraordinary human mind, trained by necessity, refined by culture, sharpened over a lifetime spent looking up. That's the real reframe. The people who painted bulls beside star clusters, who carved vultures beside circular disks, weren't receiving knowledge from somewhere else. They were doing the same thing modern astronomers do: observing, recording, passing information forward so the next generation wouldn't have to start from zero. The only difference is the medium. You use a telescope, a satellite, a research paper published online in seconds. They used a wall, a torch, and ochre ground into paste. And maybe that's the real reason the ancient aliens theory feels so persistent today. Not because the evidence supports it, it doesn't, but because it's oddly more comfortable to imagine some advanced outside force handed humanity its intelligence, rather than admit that intelligence like this was inside us the entire time, waiting patiently, in the dark, looking upward, one star at a time. So next time you scroll past a video insisting ancient cave art proves alien contact, remember what's actually sitting behind that claim. Not proof of visitors from another world, proof of just how far human curiosity can travel using nothing but eyes, memory, and a willingness to keep watching the same sky night after night for thousands of years. You've probably seen the claims online. Ancient cave paintings that supposedly show UFOs. But the real secret those paintings hold isn't about who visited Earth. It's about how closely your ancestors were already paying attention to it.